Welcome to the new TMZ Live, where we bring you inside our newsroom as our staff chases down today's stories in real time.
Welcome to TMZ Live. Charles has got a couple days off, so I'm going to solo it today with the help of my friends here. Gavin Newsome is going to let the Menendez brothers out. They are going to be free men as early as next month. He has not said that, but he's as much as said that. And let me explain. Gavin Newsome, our governor, California, has a podcast, and which is kind of weird in itself. And he had Ryan Murphy on his podcast. Ryan Murphy, who is a fabulous producer, best in the business. He is so good. He did Monsters, which is about the Menendez brothers, but it's a fantasy about the Menendez brothers. Coming up with, here's what the scenario could have been like, or here's what it could have been like. Ryan Murphy got involved this year. This case has been going on for 35 years. So, and there have been a lot of experts on this, and Gavin Newsome is going to ultimately make the decision on whether the Menendez brothers go free or not. And the parole board is going to hear the case next month, and then it goes to Gavin Newsome, and either he's going to say yes, they're free, or no, they're not. It's his decision. He has Ryan Murphy on this podcast and is talking to Ryan Murphy about, how do you feel about this? And Ryan Murphy is saying, yeah, at first I doubted it. In the writer's room, everybody else wanted him to go free. And then I did the show, and I think they should go free. And furthermore, I sent an advance copy to Kim Kardashian, and she watched it, and she was obsessed with it. And she said they should go free. And so Gavin Newsome is asking Ryan Murphy about his opinions about this case when he's going to make a decision. And you just got to look, before I tell you why I'm saying that he is going to release the Menendez brothers, here's a little bit of what he says.
We're just a few weeks away, August 21st and 2nd, I think, where the parole board is going to make a decision and make a recommendation
to you.
That lands on my desk.
Right.
Mr. Murphy.
That's heavy stuff.
Heavy stuff.
I was astonished at how I went into something with such a predetermined point of view and came out of it, at the end of it, thinking, where I am today is I really do think they should be released. I do think they should be paroled. And I did not think that when I started.
So why is Gavin Newsome chit-chatting with Ryan Murphy about why the Menendez brothers should be released? I think, and I feel pretty confident on this, Gavin Newsome is looking for cover. Gavin Newsome knows that this is it's a 50-50 split in America. Half the people think they should be released, half think they should rot in prison. And Ryan Murphy, produced a show that made people aware of this case who didn't know about it before. So his opinion for them counts. Gavin Newsome's going to run for president, and he wants to soften the blowback he's going to get when he releases them. So therefore, he puts his friend Ryan Murphy on, talks about Kim Kardashian and Ryan Murphy supporting the release. He's doing it for cover.
If that's the case, what a wild political miscalculation by Gavin Newsome, who I think is a very savvy politician. If he's trying to use Ryan Murphy as cover, Ryan Murphy is the echo chamber of the voice to get the Menendez brothers free. And if he's putting him on his podcast and he's trying to curry favor with someone who is undecided on this issue potentially, I think it's going to backfire. It's only going to shout into the echo chamber.
Nobody's undecided.
So then what is he doing?
What he's doing is people who watched Monsters were educated about the Menendez brothers through Ryan Murphy. And they're thinking, well, there are different scenarios. Which should I believe? And then the producer is the guy who's saying, hey, release them. And then everybody who's watching is saying, oh, well, that's the conclusion.
The producer who's part of the lefty Hollywood establishment.
Nobody thinks of him that way.
Everyone thinks of Ryan Murphy that way. Ryan Murphy is the guy who created Glee. Ryan Murphy is the guy who creates all of these lurid Hollywood tales.
They lost an election because they were viewed as being soft on crime. You're going to let two murderers out?
He's going to let him out.
It'll kill him. I truly believe that will come back to haunt him when he runs in 2028.
He is going to. You know what?
What a disastrous decision.
Can I just say one other thing?
How do you say you're tough on crime when you just let two guys who blew their parents, come on?
That's why he's looking for cover.
But
that's
this is
why
not giving Ryan
He is
Murphy.
Well, listen, it may be a bad political calculation, but he's made it clear. Look, I
agree with you. I think he's going to do it.
He's going to release him. I mean, he's the one that
move. It's a bad political calculation.
Why would Gavin Newsom commit political suicide by releasing? What's the upside of releasing the Menendez brothers for Gavin Newsom's ambition to become president of the United States? It's terrible. It's counterproductive for him.
You may or may not be right on that. I will bet you money he's going to release them.
Francisco, Gavin Newsom is handling this in the best way possible. We have perspective right now. The series depicts a very complex and toxic relationship between kids and parents, and it makes me very nervous. Brothers killing their parents at age 18, that requires peeling so much onion, and the world has to unpack this really quickly, and I think we can learn a lot about toxic relationships between parents and kids. Everyone deserves a second chance, especially if you have committed a crime as a young adult or a kid.
Okay, we are being joined now by the Menendez brothers' lawyer, Mark Aragos. Mark, I got to tell you, I watched this podcast, and there is absolutely no doubt in my mind, I will bet a lot of money. Gavin Newsom has decided already that he is going to grant the Menendez brothers clemency. I am convinced based on this podcast.
You know, I was fascinated by this podcast, and I purposely did not watch your interview, which you sent to me. Thank you very much, because I didn't want
my NBC interview.
Your NBC interview, because I didn't want to be jaded, because I will give the governor, I've been very critical of the governor in the past on a whole host of issues. I mean, you know the history of dining outdoors and COVID and all kinds of stuff. But and actually on some parole decisions, but I'm not going to go there. I will give him credit that this, I thought, was a very transparent kind of interview where he talked to Ryan Murphy. And I'll give Ryan Murphy also credit because I was harsh with him as well. And so when I think people are being authentic, and I think both of them were being authentic here on their journey, Menendez journey, that I was not as appalled as I think you were.
Well, I'm not even saying appalled. I just think, I think it's super weird that the governor, literally a month before he's going to make a decision on the fate of the Menendez brothers, is sitting down with the guy who did the fantasy show on the Menendez brothers. And I love Ryan Murphy, but he's sitting down with Ryan Murphy, I think, because he has already decided he's going to grant them clemency and he wants cover. And Ryan Murphy can give him cover because lots of people who didn't know about the Menendez brothers know about it because of Ryan.
That would be a rather cynical take, I think, because I actually took them at their word in this sense. I thought it was an interesting kind of evolution, and they talked about it, and they talked about which you don't always see. Everybody seems, at least politicians, are always prepackaged, or they've tested things, or they pulled things to death, or things of that nature. I didn't get the sense of this. I thought this was two guys who know each other, who were talking about how they've had an evolution in their thinking. And
you don't find it weird that the governor who's making a decision is asking Ryan Murphy whether he thinks the Menendez brothers should be paroled?
No, in this, if you had told me 3 years ago, yes, but no, not in where we're at right now. By the way, people give credit to Ryan Murphy for bringing these issues to the forefront. I actually will go more. I think the origin story is kind of the TikTok squad. The TikTok squad, as I call them, they understood and they realized in real time years ago what was happening here and the abuse, and that the abuse had been basically kind of pushed to the side. And it's one of the, I've mentioned this before, it's one of the areas, a few areas where I ever diverge from Leslie Abramson, who was their lawyer for
in the first trial.
Yeah, in the first trial. Leslie's always said since then, and I've reached out to her and I haven't talked to her recently, that no amount of TikTok people are going to change anybody's mind. I disagree with that. I think that there's a certain kind of public interest in things. Take a look at the Epstein files. Take a look at Making of a Murderer. Take a look. When you shine light on things, that's what a democracy is all about. What I was going to tell you, and I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, Erik is having a serious medical condition right now.
What's the issue?
I'm not going to violate HIPAA or attorney-client or anything else, but I think if there was ever anybody who should be furloughed, especially right now, a month before the hearing, it's Erik. And Lyle will slap me for saying he shouldn't be. But
was he diagnosed with something?
He's being treated right now. I'll leave it at that. It's a serious condition, and he needs, I think, to be out, and so he can focus on the hearing. And I would call on the governor. He's done this in the past, especially in the COVID and post-COVID era, to furlough. I would ask that he furlough Erik in advance of the hearing, and he can do that, and with one stroke of the pen, and I think it's called for. And I don't want to get into the weeds on the medical condition. I'm going to leave it for him and his loved ones, but I think right now that is the appropriate thing to do going into this. What are we, 29 days away from the parole hearing?
Mark, I'm stunned by what you said, and I don't want to pry, but I have to ask. I mean, is this a potentially life-threatening condition?
Hopefully not, and I just think it's a serious condition, and I just think he should be furloughed, I think is the proper term. And he should be medically furloughed in advance of the hearing so that he can work with the parole attorney and get up to speed and be ready and do it and give it his best shot. I think that it's the only fair and equitable thing to do.
Have you communicated this with the governor's office?
I'll just leave it at that. I think the governor should do it.
Okay. Mark, really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Coming up,
there is one person who may hold all the secrets in the Jeffrey Epstein case. And that one person is in prison right now. Congress now wants to hear from Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think they are going to be faced with this choice, that she will not spill the beans unless she gets immunity.
be right back.
Okay, we just put a story up on the website that Ozzy Osbourne has died, 76 years old. He has had his medical issues over the last few years. We knew he was very sick. But the family came out with a statement. The entire family was there at his bedside when he passed this morning. What a life.
You know, it's wild. He's 76, like you said, he's had health issues for a long time. It's not surprising, but it is still very shocking. Because Ozzy Osbourne is somebody that just seemed always so alive, just such a larger-than-life presence, like a legend in music, the godfather of heavy metal. What an icon, what a legend.
You don't remember, but Black Sabbath formed in 1968, and they kicked Ozzy out of the group because of problems with drugs and alcohol, and he struggled with that. But the amazing thing, you don't see a lot, is when somebody leaves a group, usually they don't do as well. Sometimes they do, but Ozzy did.
Especially in those circumstances where he did have a lot of issues, a lot of things to overcome, and he just became even bigger.
13 albums. Grammys.
Millions of albums sold. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice as a member of Black Sabbath and as a solo artist.
Which is amazing.
And he's just such a part of pop culture. I mean, to music fans, this is an incredible loss. But biting the head off a bat in 1982, everyone knows that story.
Yeah, which is what I remember.
That's what everybody thinks of. And even crazier, to younger people, he's the dad from reality TV.
Well, yeah, the Osbournes was...
kind of pioneered.
The Osbournes really pioneered celebrity. It did. It absolutely pioneered.
It set the stage for
Erik worked on the show. He worked on the Osbourne show.
I worked on the show with Jack and Ozzy where they went around the country on a road trip together, like a father-son bonding moment. It was a really great show. It was on History Channel. Ozzy was the best. He was naturally funny, so charismatic. He like didn't act his age. When he was on his downtime, he was just drawing and sketching. He loved drawing. I'm sure we'll see a lot of those in the coming months, which Sharon will release. But yeah, it's a huge loss.
The other thing that's really interesting about Ozzy is Sharon. That Sharon got him clean and really helped manage his career. I think her dad worked with Black Sabbath, and she took over. And Sharon was Kris Jenner before Kris Jenner.
She was. She managed his solo career, kept him functioning enough to become a huge superstar, helped him get clean, and then oddly helped him turn into America's dad.
Yeah.
Which is such an odd thing.
Which is really odd. I mean...
And famously, he's known to a lot of people when they think of Ozzy, they think, Sharon!
Yeah.
Yelling her name. That's what he is to a lot of people.
Absolutely. And they had some few separations, bumps in the road, but they stayed together
it was
till the end.
For them.
It really was.
Yeah, what a loss.
My name is Ty Wilson. I'm in Denver, Colorado, and it's just such a tragedy to see a monolith in media go like this, from television to live performance to music. Ozzy Osbourne really changed the game in every way he could.
He did, and I had I once saw them at a Thanksgiving dinner, the whole family, at a hotel. I brought my parents there, and they were there, and I had more fun just watching them at that table. It was, they were a loving, loving family. There is one person who may hold all the secrets in the Jeffrey Epstein case. And that one person is in prison right now. Her name is Ghislaine Maxwell. She is the assistant/girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein, who knows everything. We talked about this the other day. I'm telling you, I know people who have seen the Justice Department file, and they're going to release it. There's not a whole lot in there. There is stuff in there, but in terms of like Donald Trump, his name is mentioned more than a few times, but there's nothing in there that's untoward, we are told. And that is from two totally different people who have seen this. The grand jury transcript is ridiculous because it's lasered into specific crimes involving specific people. So even though they're talking about, releasing some of that, that's not going to amount to anything. The civil cases that were filed against Maxwell and Epstein, there is stuff in there, I am told. People who have seen it, where judges have protected some people who allegedly molested girls at the island, saying they were trying to protect the identity of the victims. So those civil files have something. But the person who knows everything is Ghislaine Maxwell. She is serving a 20-year sentence right now. Kind of weird because you would think, Jason, I would think the 20 years should be in connection with misdeeds involving some of the various people, but none of those people have ever been charged. So she's serving 20 years. Congress now wants to hear from Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think they are going to be faced with this choice, that she will not spill the beans unless she gets immunity. Not just immunity, but some kind of clemency. She's got all the bargaining power now.
She's got all the bargaining power. There's a lot of pressure from both the left and the right to speak with her and to uncover what there is to be uncovered.
And they want that.
And she is the key. They want that. She is the key to everything. She's not going to talk, and they've approached her. They've approached her lawyers, and they said, we'd like to speak with her. There's no way she's going to speak with them without getting something in return, and that's going to be a huge reduction in her sentence.
Well, there are two things that could happen. One is there's something called use immunity, and that means they can't prosecute her for things she says if she testifies. But there's nothing in it for her. She could just say, well, I'm not going to talk. Yeah. I'm just not going to talk.
Right.
I'll exercise my Fifth Amendment right and I just won't talk. So giving her use immunity, I don't think is going to cut it. So her lawyer, there's no way her lawyer isn't going to say, look, she got 20 years, which is a really high sentence for this, and give her clemency and she'll tell you everything.
That's right. And it's interesting. There was a comment that came out from her lawyer, which I thought was interesting, which she said, "We are grateful to President Trump for his commitment to uncovering the truth in this case. We have no other comment at this time." So I think there's two things happening. She's going to be negotiating with the investigators who want to talk to her. But at the same time, the lawyer is very clearly currying favor with the president, because in order to get clemency, in order to get any deal, it's going to have to come directly from him, right? He's going to have to rubber stamp any deal that happens here. And I think there's a real purposeful intent to sort of say nice things about the president. Now, of course, there's been speculation. Well, there is truth to the fact that his name is mentioned in these documents, not incriminatingly so.
Right.
But he doesn't want that to come out at all, because there's a lot that can be made out of just the fact his name appears.
And there are people who have now come forward. This woman came forward yesterday and was talking about, I was at a meeting with Trump and Epstein, and they seem to be best friends and whatnot. It's interesting, Pam Bondi is now saying, the Attorney General is now saying, yeah, we want to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell.
My heart goes out to the victims, and whatever the results that come out, hopefully it won't be something to further victimize any of the victims in this case.
Would you give Ghislaine Maxwell clemency for her testimony?
You know what? It would really depend on what she would possibly offer to the case. But
well, she knows. She knows everything. Yes. She knows everything. Would you give her, if she spilled the beans, whatever the beans are, would you give her clemency?
Possibly. Possibly I would give her clemency.
Stop waffling. Tell me yes or no.
Oh, I would just have to hear, what she has to offer. I would just have to. But the one thing I would be concerned about is further victimization of the victims and whatever decision is made.
Well, we will see. But this is dicey. Because it's sort of like a box of Cracker Jacks. You don't know what's inside.
Coming up.
We broke the story yesterday about the tragic death of Malcolm-Jamal Warner. This death had an enormous impact for a variety of reasons. Bill Cosby gave us a comment, and I think this is just really interesting.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
Justin Timberlake made Portland kids' dream come true by joining a bike bus ride. And they always listen to Justin Timberlake.
Cry me a river when they fall.
Yeah. It's TMZ.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. So we broke the story yesterday about the tragic death of Malcolm-Jamal Warner. And I got to tell you, there are moments when you see a reaction to a death where it defines a life, and it has to do just with the enormity of the moment. And we have seen this over the years. I mean, I remember when we broke Michael Jackson's death, when we broke the death of Prince, and others, that it just had an enormous impact on people. This death had an enormous impact for a variety of reasons, and one of them is cultural, but it really hit people hard. So lots and lots of people commented. You might be interested in this. Bill Cosby gave us a comment, and that's interesting because obviously Cosby has had big issues on his part, and he wanted to come out and talk about his castmate. And I think this is just really interesting. Here's what he said. He said, getting that call reminded him, meaning me, this was through his publicist, of being in the studio taping The Cosby Show, getting the call that Innes, his son, had been murdered. His son had been murdered near the 405 freeway in Los Angeles. It felt the same way when I got the call about Malcolm. Malcolm was changing the world, talking about a big concert in Minneapolis, so excited. It was like Ennis. They played together, come to Massachusetts property. Never heard family members laugh so hard. They were amazing together. Malcolm left us something so great that it's going to continue to change the world. Every young man wanted to be like Malcolm that grew up in projects. have a family like the Huxtables. Malcolm was brilliant. I think that's just really interesting.
I mean, it almost seems like Cosby looked at Malcolm as a son. You know,
and that's what it felt like.
That's it.
And comparing him to Ennis.
Comparing him to Ennis. You know, I mean that. You know, he saw both of them as sons. I mean, that's how I'm reading that.
Culturally, this was a huge moment where you could see him on that show, and it just blew open all the stereotypes, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think. You know, like hip hop hadn't formulated as big when the Cosby Show was on air, so you know that was inadvertently he was a role model. Malcolm was a role model as the character for Theo. You know, we actually talked to Ice Cube, and Cube actually conveyed that Malcolm did a lot of great things with that Theo character. You know,
this is really interesting. This is Ice Cube at LAX.
Passed away again, and that's sad. He kind of changed the paradigm with the Cosby Show, with the stuff he was doing. Yeah, actor who really brought a realness to television on playing a great character, playing a great son on the Cosby Show. He did a few good things outside of the Cosby Show. Malcolm and Eddie was great. Yeah. It's tragic.
Hi, my name is Adriana from Chicago, and I grew up watching The Cosby Show, and I do recall back when the unfortunate incident happened with Bill Cosby's son. And I just remember watching it growing up thinking it must be so hard to go to set every day knowing you lost your son. At least you have like a kind of a surrogate son with the Theo character. So now to relive that trauma all over again with his death, that's just heartbreaking. I'm definitely feeling it. I know everyone's feeling it.
No, they are. By the way, we told you he died. He was pulled under by a rip current and a riptide, and they tried saving him. They couldn't. There are stories out now that there were no lifeguards in the area, but look, we don't know what the situation is there, whether they generally have lifeguards in the area he was in or not. Whichever it is, it was just really, really a tragic death.
Coming up.
Stephen Colbert did not hold back his feelings last night. There are a lot of people who think this is all about Trump. I have a feeling one of those people is our buddy D.L. Hughley.
Bribery is what it is. Like, it's bribery.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. So there was a lot of activity last night in the late night shows. As you know, Stephen Colbert's show has been canceled, seemingly abruptly. And there are people who think this has more to do with the fact that the show is losing money. A lot of people think this has to do with Paramount, which owns CBS, allegedly caving to Donald Trump. You know, they just made a settlement over the 60 Minutes dispute. There is a merger in play that needs to get approved by the feds. So some people think this is all about Trump, and some say it's all about money. Stephen Colbert did not hold back his feelings last night.
On Friday, Donald Trump posted, "I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings." How dare you, sir? Would an untalented man be able to compose the following satirical witticism? Go yourself. And now for the next 10 months, the gloves are off. I can finally, I can finally speak unvarnished truth to power and say what I really think about Donald Trump, starting right now. I don't care for him.
Okay, so that was kind of funny. Jon Stewart was not funny at all. He was enraged.
If you're trying to figure out why Stephen's show is ending, I don't think the answer can be found in some smoking gun email or phone call from Trump to CBS executives or in CBS's QuickBooks spreadsheets on the financial health of late night. I think the answer is in the fear and pre-compliance that is gripping all of America's institutions at this very moment. Institutions that have chosen not to fight the vengeful and vindictive actions of our pubic hair doodling commander-in-chief. This is not the moment to give in.
there are a lot of people who think this is all a ruse, that it's all about Trump. I have a feeling one of those people is our buddy DL Hughley, who joins us every week. DL, welcome back.
Hey, man, how you doing, man? You here by yourself? You got
I'm
Charles
here by
to
myself.
lead?
Charles went on vacation. I know. So look, they're saying over at CBS, look, it's a money issue. The show is losing money. The ratings aren't what it used to be. You buying that?
Well, he has the highest rating in late night, so there's that. But I think ultimately, I don't, I can't say whether that is the case or not. But I can say this president has inserted himself in with the way universities teach. Joy Reid is off the air. He's inserted himself in Brazil, like he wants Brazil's trial of its former leader to stop. So it's fair to say that the questions abound when it comes to what he involves himself in under the auspices of the presidency. So it's not unlike what he's done before. It's not. He's very. We know he's very litigious, and he gets involved in things that no other president has or should, and he used the pomp and power and the circumstance of the presidency to do it. And so, whether he had, I don't know. I can't say for sure whether he had something to do with this or not, but I can say he inserts himself in a lot of places that no other president has or should.
You know, I got to say, you mentioned Brazil and you mentioned Harvard and whatnot. There are also law firms that have bent the knee.
Right.
So, and ABC settled with him, and now CBS has settled with him.
Right.
So, whether this is about money or whether it's about Trump, he has more power, I feel, than any president has had in my lifetime. He has amassed this kind of power by fear, like I've never seen before.
Right.
And you got to wonder, even if this was about money, he can flex on this one.
I think he can for a while. I think that ultimately, if he has a Congress that is compliant, a Senate that's compliant, he has a judiciary that seems to be in his pocket. So he has unfettered power. And to me, is this the kind of America where you want to live in, where one man can decide? And he's using the power of the presidency to do it. Like he can deny California fire relief because he doesn't like them. He can decide we're going to. He's doing all these petty. He's King Joffrey. He's doing all the things you would see on Game of Thrones, and there is no checks or balance. Nobody will do anything to stop him. And I think the only recourse people have is to not give in and not to capitulate. And I think it's very petty. Look, all of this is distract us from talking about the Epstein file. So that's any time we spend doing that is a victory for him because he's not having to deal with that the circumstances of the Epstein file. It is. To me, unsavory that the president of the United States has involved himself in these lawsuits and taking what amounts to nuisance fee. And bribery is what it is. Like it's bribery. If I can use the pomp and circumstances of the presidency to extract something from you, knowing that you want a merger to go through or knowing that you want a particular thing from me, I don't know what else we'd call that.
Well, you know, the one thing that makes me think this is more about money is that they're letting him stay in the air for 10 months. And if this were really about Trump, I mean, we have seen people disappear, the way Putin's wife did, where all of a sudden they're just gone. And that's not the case with Colbert. He's going to be on for another 10 months.
That's the conclusion. I wouldn't, listen, I think contractually, I think that I've been counseled enough to know that this is not how networks do it, especially with an established flagship show like that. You've never seen a flagship. We're talking about an emperor. Late night has existed in CBS for decades, and all of a sudden you unceremoniously do it this way. So that would cause me to question. And the way they would have to do it is to give it some time to settle whatever kind of underpinnings the show has to deal with. But the fact that we have to question whether he was involved in a talk show host, a game show host getting a talk show host fired, is hilarious to me. So
yeah, I get it. Okay, I got to ask you one other question before we scoot. Should Congress, or really, I mean, should the president, the Justice Department, give Ghislaine Maxwell clemency? So she can spill the secrets?
The only reason they wouldn't do it if they thought it would have some kind of it'd be problematic for them. Listen, she is a living, breathing Epstein list. She's a living, breathing, walking Epstein list. If the Department of Justice wanted to get to the bottom of it, it's well within their capacity to do it. They can investigate. They've been investigating whether the election was stolen from him since 2020 for 5 years now, and we know it hasn't been. They've been if they put the same kind of effort into proving that the election was stolen, they can put that kind of effort and use the power of the presidency and the Department of Justice to find out who was on that list. And again, I say whoever's on that list, from somebody I like to somebody I can't stand, they need to suffer the consequences of their action.
Okay, man. As you all know, the D.L. Hughley Show airs weekdays from 3 to 7. And we really appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.
Always, man. See, I did pretty good for Charles this time. He ain't got to come back.
I know. I know. You should come in the office next time he goes away.
One day.
Okay, man.
One day soon. All right, take care. All right.
Coming up.
I'm just fascinated by Megyn Kelly. Her podcast now is something that people care about and listen to. And she has a really strong voice. So this was a huge left turn for me when she went in hard on J-Lo.
Be right back.
I'm just fascinated by Megyn Kelly. I'm fascinated by her whole career. I read her book, and she really has had kind of an interesting journey in media. And her podcast now is something that people care about and listen to. And she has a really strong voice. So this was a huge left turn for me when she went in hard on J-Lo.
Yeah, Harvey, this was crazy. So she posted on her Twitter a video of one of J-Lo's performances. Now, this was one of her performances from the Cook Music Festival in Tenerife. And look at this video she posted.
Okay, it's sexy. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay,
Definitely a sexually charged video, but also nothing out of the norm from what a usual pop star does. So Megyn Kelly posted this video on X, and she said, so she's a soft porn star now, great choices. Obviously saying this is like borderline porn. This is porn, is what she's saying. But I think that's super unfair. I mean, it's clearly a performance. Again, no different from what any pop star has done before in the past. Anybody from Janet Jackson, which all of them have been, accused of playing up the sexuality too much. But, I mean, unfair.
Well,
unfair.
But let's say it's soft porn. Okay. So?
Meant to be an insult, though.
1,000%.
I know, but
Remember that one concert where the people got mad that they didn't sign up to buy a ticket to see a soft porn show? So maybe
it's like,
that's...
okay, so.
I have to say, J-Lo and Shakira, when they did the Super Bowl, probably one of my favorite Super Bowl halftime performances of all time.
I'm Allie from Pennsylvania. I personally don't think it was that raunchy. I think in the music industry, it is let's see who can push the envelope as farthest as they could. But I think in her case, it was just a performance. She looks amazing. She can still put on a great show. Just let her go. Let her be.
I absolutely agree. Megyn Kelly is fascinating to me, but this feels very pearl clutchy.
Coming up.
LeBron James and Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez partying in Cannes. This may be the best video of the day.
It's not even the LeBron part that is the best part, though. But
the best part
stuff is great, too.
Right.
Be right back.
Okay, we are stuck in our office here. LeBron James and Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez partying in Cannes. Here in our sports department, this may be the best video of the day. Okay.
But it's not even the LeBron part that is the best part, though. But
the best
LeBron
part is
stuff is great, too.
Right. Okay. So this is LeBron.
Yeah, and LeBron James and Drake were like super tight, right? So there's LeBron.
And he's singing Not Like Us.
Right. Wait till you see Jeff Bezos.
This is hysterical. Now watch this. Can you Oh my God.
That's my favorite video.
Oh.
What's also lost in this is when LeBron is rapping along, when he gets to the real bad Drake lyrics, he kind of puts his head down and doesn't really speak them out loud. Meanwhile, Savannah is screaming A minor.
Yeah, he doesn't say the A minor part.
But she did.
She did.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's hysterical.
Yeah.
This has got to be devastating. It's so embarrassing for Drake to.
Embarrassing for Drake? What about Jeff Bezos?
No, well, fine. But he loves it, though. I mean, you see it on his face. He doesn't care.
No, I know, you totally
This is like
see it.
his life now.
It's hysterical.
He loves it. She looks great. But, I mean, LeBron James and Drake were really great friends. And now for Drake to see LeBron at this resort rapping the lyrics, that's got to hurt.
Hi, I'm Ash from Nashville, Tennessee, and listen, good food and good music are the two equalizers. How can you not have a good time when you have music like Kendrick Lamar playing? To see LeBron James and Jeff Bezos vibe out is everything. And when I say Kendrick Lamar, I am talking about the greatest rapper of his time. I said what I said. We are Team Kendrick over here.
By the way, did you see the yacht behind LeBron? I think that's Jeff Bezos' yacht, the blue city there. Okay, what else you guys want to talk about?
Nakia from Los Angeles. I'm talking about Gavin Newsome and Ryan Murphy. Personally, in my opinion, I live in LA, so I believe that Gavin was going to release the Menendez brothers anyway. I just think this podcast will bring a positive life to Gavin, the Menendez brothers, because I believe they are rehabilitated and I don't think that they are a threat to society. But I just think Gavin loves attention, whether it's negative or positive. But I think this will bring light to the release when it comes.
Will it help him in his run for president?
I think so. I think it will. I think that's what he's getting ready for. He's starting to gear up. He's leaving us in LA and he's going to DC.
We will see. We will see. One more.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Ellerbrock. I'm from Miami. Regarding the cancellation of the late night show, I honestly don't believe this is a political issue. I think it is more about business. The show is losing millions of viewers every single year and is losing over $40 million every single year. I don't think it's really about censorship. I really do believe it's about a business cutting its losses.
Is the timing suspicious?
It could be.
I mean, that's the thing. They could have done this a year ago because they saw where it was heading, and they didn't. And they settle with Trump, and then they're looking for this merger to get approved, and all of a sudden they pull the plug. So it's kind of weird, huh?
Yes, but I believe that the whole industry is taking a huge hit right now. I think there's a lot of competition with the streaming services. So I don't know. I think the format, the business model of the late night shows just need to change a little bit, just need to adapt.
I think you're right.
Coming up.
Everybody loves the new relationship with Meg Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Except Shaq, who thinks there is a very short shelf life. What if he's right?
Be right back.
Everybody loves the new relationship with Meg Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Except Shaq, who thinks there is a very short shelf life. This is Shaq's podcast.
Shaq, did you see the news about the new hot couple?
Who?
It is Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion.
Who's Klay Thompson, though?
He plays basketball. He was on the Warriors, one of the greatest shooters of all time. He's now on the Dallas Mavericks.
Really?
And he's with Megan Thee Stallion.
6 weeks. I'm gonna say nothing. I'm gonna say nothing. My kid, I can't say.
You don't see it lasting into the fall.
6 weeks.
That's
great.
hysterical.
It's hysterical. I don't think it's true, though.
No, but
they look into each other.
What if he's right?
Well, that'll be
No.
hilarious.
So Shaq's the new Nostradamus.
Right. I think Shaq's wrong, though. But that was so funny. They look like they really like each other.
I know. That's today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll see tomorrow.
That's today. We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.